Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "A little while, and you will see me no longer. Again, a little while, you will see me." Some of his disciples said to one another, "What is this that he says to us, 'A little while, and you will not see me'? And again, a little while, and you will see me. And because I go to the Father." They said, "What does he mean by a little while? We do not know what he means." Jesus knew that they wanted to ask him, so he said to them, "Is this what you are asking yourselves? What I meant by saying, 'A little while, and you will not see me', and again, 'A little while, and you will see me'? Truly, truly, I say to you, you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice, and you will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will turn into joy." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise the Lord Jesus Christ.
Dear brothers and sisters, today's Gospel from John chapter 16, verses 16. Very easy to remember, 16:16. Jesus says, only a little while they can see him. And people were perplexed. They were not able to understand the meaning. And when I was reading this Bible passage in the morning, I remember Fr.Cherian narrated, and he is from Ernakulam Angamali diocese. And he was the Jesus Youth chaplain for many years, very loved by the people, and people looked to him as saint. Last year, he celebrated the Mass, maybe few days before, maybe on 13th of May 2021. While he preached this gospel, a little while, his last sermon, Father explained very nicely what is the meaning, theological background, what the Israelites expect, a little while. And Father was telling, little while only in this world we have a suffering. And in this little while, we have to endure this suffering with patience and with much prayer, because God will not allow us to suffer. Then on the same evening, Father met with an accident, and Father was there. Fr.Cherian was there for a few days in the hospital. Then God called him and he went away. So that is tomorrow, 27th of May. So when I was reflecting this a little while, I remember him. And we believe, most of the people who are associated with the Jesus Youth, we believe that he is a saintly man and God will raise him maybe one day among his saints. Today we also church remember Saint Philip Neri. Saint Philip Neri is the patron saint for joy. Usually we see saints praying like that and all maybe, but this saint is a joyful saint, and he is a patron for joy, cheerfulness, and whatever you call happiness, everything he is the patron. And just like we read in the first reading, Paul said, okay, now onwards I will go to Gentiles. So he left, and God made him like apostle to the Gentiles. And that's how we see how Paul was preaching to the whole world, at that time the known world. So Saint Philip Neri, he is Italian, and he was also working man. Just like Paul is a tent maker, he is also a person who was working. And after that, he felt God called him to become a priest, and he wanted to come to India as a missionary. So we are in the 16th century, where many Jesuits were coming to India to evangelize. So with Saint Ignatius of Loyola, Francis Xavier, that is the time. And he also wanted to become a Jesuit, and he wanted to come specifically for the ministry in the mission in India. But somehow, after a few years of discernment, God convinced him that his mission is in Rome itself. Then Saint Philip Neri obeys the will of God and he continues to do the mission. And Saint Philip Neri is called as an apostle for Rome. We know this title is given to Saint Peter, Saint Paul, apostles to Rome. We celebrate 29th of June. But Saint Philip Neri, along with Peter and Paul, he is acclaimed as the second apostle for Rome. He revived the spirituality in the 16th century. And with joy, prayer with happiness. So he preached. And Saint Philip Neri is to say always like, I prefer heaven. We are called to go to heaven. A little while only we will be in this world. Whatever time we pass, 70 years, 80 years, whatever time, that comparing to the eternity, it is just a little while. That's why Bible says, Saint Peter in his letter writes like, 1,000 years for God is one day. What about 70, 80 years? It's nothing. It's just a little while. But we will live eternity. And that's what we need to choose. And Philip Neri says about that. We have to prefer heaven. Preferisco, Paradiso. That was his famous title. And do everything with joy. And he's like a modern day saint who initiated the youth ministry, oratory. He started. Then Francis de Sales took that spirituality. Then Don Bosco took the spirituality. Like there's so many things. Now I am speaking, I am also Jesus youth. So Philip Neri is the foundation in a sense for the young people. And he says like, state bene se potete. Italian. It's like, be good if possible. So he adds, he knows that it is difficult, but he says, be good if possible. And such a loving way, he converts. And especially he used to say like, whatever we ask God, if we don't put Christ, we don't ask anything. A person who doesn't ask Christ in his life, he doesn't know what exactly he wants. Let us ask God's grace in this Eucharist that we see only Jesus, the little while which we spend, and the true joy, true happiness that we receive in our lives through the intercession of this cheerful saint, Saint Philip Neri.